Well, today is, of course, Memorial Day, and there'll be a very, very nice ceremony that I'd really like to encourage families to attend up on Mount Soledad today. And retired Air Force Colonel Bruce Bailey, no relation that I know of, joins us this morning to tell us all about that. First off, sir, thank you for your service.
Well, thank you very much for inviting me.
I don't know that it's appropriate to say Happy Memorial Day because of the somber nature of the day, but do you hear thank you often enough?
Absolutely. We do quite often. As a matter of fact, on my way over here this morning, I had a message on my cell phone, and it was a friend of mine from Riverside who called and thanked me for having done some service.
See, people seem to be much more aware now. Again, I don't think you can say thank you enough, but the tone has changed somewhat, has it not?
Very much so, and that's why we'd like to invite everybody to come up to Mount Soledad today at 2 o'clock. We are going to have our memorial service, as you know. We usually have about 600 to 700 people, and we are going to have a wonderful service. I would encourage people who are coming to get there a little early, perhaps 1:30, maybe quarter of, because it's going to be a full house. We're going to have a commemorative plaque for General Patton, George Patton.
Now, what's the connection? Why Patton and Mount Soledad?
Well, obviously, Patton had a great deal to do with World War II, and each year, or excuse me, each holiday, we have a commemorative plaque. This last time it was Jimmy Stewart, who was a brigadier general in the Air Force. Before that was Jerry Coleman, who was a colonel.
Oh, that's the colonel.
And the colonel, and a Marine pilot. So yes, we picked someone, and today we will have a commemorative plaque for General Patton. We will also have a very great speaker for our presentation speaker, Brigadier General Angie Salinas, who is the commander of MCRD.
She's been in here before. She's just wonderful.
She is everything and wonderful together. She is a dynamic, wonderful lady, and we're looking forward to her being up there with us. I believe it was about 3 years ago she was up there, and unfortunately for us, meaning the society, we right when she was start to speak, the public address system went down, and she stood up and went to the dais, and with all the people out there, and she said, "Folks, if you think that a broken PA system is going to make this Marine stop, you got it wrong." And
they heard her in the back row.
Got a standing ovation.
You know, I can't let you go without at least sharing one story about one of the plaques up there, because every single one of those tells a story. And I've taken my kids up there and said, I just want you to wander around, soak it in, just read one or two of these. Any one particular story come to mind right now?
You know, there is, and it has to do with a gentleman whose name I will tell you at the end of the story. But he grew up in New York, in the Bronx, with his friend. They went to college for a year. They decided that they wanted to get into the military, and so they enlisted in the Army. They went to Vietnam together. They got assigned to the 101st Airborne together, and then they got split up in Vietnam. And as Bill Nelson says, I was called back to headquarters. He got back there. He said, "I thought maybe one of my parents had died," and unfortunately it was his friend John. So he brought John back. They had all the ceremonies, the burials, and then he wrote this, which, if you don't mind, I'd like to just share with you. This is from an email back in September of '02. We have plaques up on the wall with the two of them, and he says this: "I always felt if we were kept together, I may have been able to protect him. Anyway, it's a long time ago and many buried emotions later. As I said before, I feel good being back together with him in the form of the plaques, as buddies once more on the wall at Mount Soledad." Bill Nelson is presently the president and CEO of HBO.
Colonel, thank you so much for sharing this morning.